Welcome to another edition of Press the Action Button podcast on DigitalDelirium.com. I am your host, Joystick. What is going on? Hey! With me once again this week is D-Pad. How are you doing this week, D-Pad?
Tick-tock, 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 tick-tock. This is D-Pad, not, Maxi-Pad. How's it going, guys?
Or iPad, which sounds like an interactive Maxi-Pad.
It's a Maxi-Pad that you control. That's right, me, the singular me. This is D-Pad. How's it going, fellas? And now it's press the action button, so let's get ready to rumble. Here's gameplay.
Good morning, Vietnam!
I was doing an impression of stuttering.
Wait to see what happens in this week's episode.
I haven't even introduced you yet. You just heard him. Yeah, that's a Game Face right there. How you doing, Game Face?
That's right. That was kind of out of place. I'm doing good. Let's put down the show tunes now. I can't keep that up for long.
Actually, I was kind of doing a little bit of stuttering Craig there.
Oh, yeah.
But you haven't heard Side Scrollers, but that's how he always begins Side Scrollers. He's like, whoa, welcome to Side Scrollers on ScrewAttack.com. What is going on? Hey, I am your host, Stuttering Craig. You always like that. It's great.
Well, the only other thing that I ever saw with Stuttering Craig is, doesn't he do Game Vault?
Yeah, he does the video game vault.
That's the only thing that I've ever really seen him do.
He's awesome. Stuttering Craig kicks ass.
Okay.
You know what else kicked ass that we went to see yesterday?
Yeah.
Kick ass! You owe it to yourself to go see this freaking movie. How awesome was it, D-Pad?
Fucking nuts. Knuckin' futs. Go to see it. It kicks ass as much as the title says it will.
It's a
That's
title
right.
and a description.
That's right. It lived up to the title by kicking severe amounts of ass. How about Hit Girl, man? Was she badass or what?
It's usually hard to identify with a girl who's under the age of 16, but she made it work. She was awesome. Possibly because she acted so much older than she really was.
She was like the best character in the freaking movie, man.
Her lines
Definitely.
were hysterical.
So you want to play? Love that. So fucking great. Oh, man, this was a busy week in the gaming industry today. You probably noticed that if you've been checking up on the website every single day. I went from I uploaded 3 one day, to 2 the next, and 3, you know? Very, very busy week. A whole lot of stuff going on in the industry, and of course, I had to pick some of the topics to save for this podcast. So there's probably some big news that you're wondering why it hasn't been on the website yet. Well, that's because we were saving it for the podcast. Before we get to that, I'd just like to say Peter Steele, the lead singer of Typo Negative, passed away this week. It's really sad.
Negative?
Typo Negative, yes.
Is that like a techno band?
No, they're a metal band.
Oh.
Do I look like the kind of guy that would listen to techno to you?
I don't know. Do they have a look, really? I mean, unless you have a pacifier.
You would if you had robot ears.
Or are gay? That too.
Sorry,
Anyway, yeah, he passed away this week, and I've seen Typo Negative live. They're a very, very good and talented band. I thoroughly enjoyed seeing them live at that same show. Vinnie Paul and Dimebag Darrell from Pantera were there. The other act that was there was Lacuna Coil. They were really good, and yes, Christina Scabia is that hot in real life. But it's really sad. So when you hear one song this week that has nothing to do with video games or anything like that, and you're sitting there going, the fuck is this doing in the podcast? It's because I threw it in there because of him as a little tribute. It's I Don't Want to Be Me by Typo Negative.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Plus, I thought it kind of sounded like a chiptune band, you know, because when you said Typo Negative, I heard typo, and then I heard negative. It just sounded
It's
like
not
typo.
actually typo, it's type
Oh,
O.
negative. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
like
get it.
blood or
Yeah,
something.
I see it now. But anyway, what are we drinking tonight?
You want to? Who wants to announce what we're drinking tonight? You want me to do it?
Go for it.
Dundee Original Honey Brown, brewed with pure bee puke.
That's what honey is.
Yes,
You
it
get
is.
honeycomb.
Dude, you popped that second one, didn't you? You're gonna wait to pop that on the podcast, and you popped it already, you dumbass.
Oh, game phase.
I'm on my
Base of
second
game.
beer here because I opened one prematurely, and we said, well, we'll just get another one so I can pop it on the podcast, and I might have to
And you
pop a
blew
third
that
one.
one off.
Nah, I shouldn't. Here.
Just a hair trigger.
Oh well,
today.
we have 2 beers for 2 microphones here, even though there's 3 people. So let's do it, and then you can toast my my frosty mug here.
Dude, you can hold them.
That's what I'm fixing to do.
Get your damn microphone
Cheers.
over here.
All right, here we go.
And
Oh my God! It almost overflowed on your computer.
That would be bad. That would be bad.
Little
That
head
was
never
beautiful,
hurt
though.
anyone.
You gotta love that sound of popping it open a can of beer.
A can of anything. It's just it's such a unique sound. It's
what you call a chacarone.
What about popping open cans of whoop ass?
well, that's a sound in its own.
Hit Girl did a whole lot of that in that movie.
She wrapped a string around someone's gun and made him shoot himself.
That was so bad.
That's nuts. Yeah,
And-
she was more kick-ass than kick-ass. She was more
Yeah,
kick-ass
she
than
was.
Dad.
Yeah, she was more badass than kick-ass. She was
Insane.
better
She
than.
made that movie.
Oh God, yes, she did. She was so badass. It's pretty kick-ass though, but and that wasn't actually meant to be a pun because the title of the movie is Kick-Ass, as is the title character. His superhero name. He calls himself Kick-Ass. Who are you, kid? I'm Kick-Ass. So awesome. If I was a superhero, I would name him something like Kick-Ass. Wouldn't you?
He comes up with a couple other names like Badass or
Wouldn't him like Bad Night or something like
I don't
that?
know. He's drawing a picture of what he wants his character to be, and you see a bunch of other names that he tried and then scribbled out because they were stupid.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it was a very
anyway,
very,
yeah,
very
it's definitely
fun
worth a
movie.
watch.
And if you're not going to go see it, shame on you. I don't care if you don't like Nicolas Cage and think he overacts. For once in recent history, he didn't actually go see this one. This is not a repeat of his
Nicolas
performance
Cage gets
in
set on fire in this movie. He still doesn't overreact.
Ghost Rider.
He's tough. She's really good at getting shot.
Well, yeah, she kind of practiced that. We see that in the previews for the movie where her dad shoots her.
I think this is what we know as a spoiler alert. I always have trouble with that.
Yeah, we should quit talking spoilers
I
for
don't know-
Kick-Ass.
I don't know how many syllables. I don't know. My mouth doesn't quite know when to stop. It's like Leonardo DiCaprio. You say it and your mouth just keeps moving. It's like Leonardo DiCaprio, yo.
My jungle love. O-E-O-E-O. Think I wanna know ya, know ya. Yeah, what?
Alright, well,
That shit is the mad no.
the motherfucking time.
God, it's been too long since I've seen that movie.
Alright, well, all in all, Kick-Ass is definitely worth to go see as long as you do it on a Friday night after work with a whole butt ton of friends who love to be rough and rowdy.
Well, actually, it was Saturday, but details that we went to see
Saturday
it.
and Sunday. Well, I don't
And
know.
then,
It all depends on the setting, really.
apparently Sean pussied out.
Sean did pussy out. You hear that, Sean? No, he's not even going to listen to this podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
'cause
does he
he's
even
just going to
listen?
pussy out. No. Anyway,
Yeah, he definitely. I was sitting there like, so we are going to the later showing. No, we're going to the earlier showing. No, we're going to the later showing because of Sean. And then Sean didn't even show up.
it was literally at the last second, too. He was arguing with his brother over who gets shotgun.
Come on, man. That's just
Tim
sad.
was like, I'm fat. I automatically get shotgun. Sean said, fuck this. I ain't going no more.
I'm fat. I'm the fat one. William Murderface.
Why don't we, Yankee Doodle Dandy pulls a plug?
Oh, man. We should, like, get to the topics
should
because we have a whole...
try and go for a record sometime of how long we can go without bringing up the topics.
Maybe we should just record one
11
with,
and a half minutes.
like, a special podcast sometime
Where we
with
have
just
the
us rambling with no topics at all. You know, that's how Kevin Smith does Smodcast. He doesn't know what the fuck he's going to talk about before he gets on there and starts talking. He just gets on there and starts bullshitting.
I had a show like that at one time. Actually, two of them. The Bob Show. Man, I gotta go back and listen to some of that crap. Anyway,
We really could ramble on for 50 minutes, I think, if we really tried. But we do have 6 topics this week. That's right, we got an action-packed show instead of 5, which we've had for a few weeks in a row. There was 6, and good lord, there was a lot to choose from this week. You saw I just got caught up on all the topics from this week around the gaming industry today. Literally, like an hour or two ago, I posted an update.
Well, great Scott!
21 gigawatts!
1.21 gigawatts! Heading at approximately 88 miles per hour.
88 miles per hour!
aliens!
Well, that's over 9,000! Oh, I'm sorry, Internet. Anyway, our first topic is about...
Our first topic is about Jason West and Vince Zampella, who we've already talked about twice on this show because they got fired from Infinity Ward, and then they had the counter lawsuit thing going on where Infinity Ward was suing them. We talked about that last week. They have formed a new studio called Respawn Games. They signed a publishing deal with Electronic Arts. Does this strike anybody else as a very, very poor time to do this?
They just did it. Like,
They did it this week.
between this week and last week, they started a new company.
Yeah, it was announced like
After being fired from another
Tuesday.
company?
Yes, they got fired. They're getting sued for wanting to defect to EA and wanting to start a side company. And then they went and started another company and defected to EA.
This is exactly like getting, like when you break it off with a girl and then like she goes out and finds some like piece of beef, to flaunt around and, make you feel bad. It won't last.
I have no idea. I gotta wonder how many of the Infinity Warders that have quit, because there's like 9 of them at this point are going to wind up at Respawn, if any of them are.
I don't know. I think it might take off depending on how angry people are over the reason they got fired.
I just can't believe the timing of this, man.
I know, so soon.
It's like
It was like a month
last
ago they
week
got fired.
they announced that there was a counter lawsuit against these guys for wanting to do this while they were at Activision. This week they did this. They're like, that's not technically an admission of guilt, but it damn sure looks like it. You know what I mean?
But I mean, take a look at it from their perspective. They probably went home and got really depressed and really drunk. And they were like, what are we gonna do about this?
Actually, I heard one of them did post up on Twitter that he was drinking in the middle of the day and unemployed when he got fired.
Wait, he was unemployed when he got fired?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
What?
I mean, he announced his unemployment on Twitter after he got fired, the day he got fired. He said he was it was at home drinking and unemployed.
I would be too if I was on the top of a corporate ladder.
I do that even when I have a job. Because I can.
Yeah, but you think about them, they probably have so much money.
Well, yeah, Modern Warfare 2 made them $1 billion. That's a big number. That's a lot of zeros on your paycheck. They never need to work again, probably.
Yeah. Infinite beer money. It's like a cheat code.
Dude,
Up, down, up,
I
down,
want,
up,
I
right,
want,
baby,
I want
start.
infinite beer money. That'd be awesome. Although if I had infinite beer money, I'd probably save it up and buy a shitload of music and video games and movies as well. I'd buy back every single video game taken from me, for example. And I just started doing that this week, actually.
What'd you buy?
Metal Gear Solid 4.
Nice.
I can't believe someone stole that from me. I got my tax return. I also bought a replacement battery for my DS. So the 4 or 5 DS games that I own, I'll be able to play those, review them for the site, that kind of thing. But this is such poor timing. What were they thinking? I think it was EA that announced this. If I was Weston Zampella, I would have been like, shut your pie hole, EA! Do not announce this right now! You know we're getting sued for this shit, right?
Do you know that if you have like at least $1 million and you put it in a good savings account, you can live just off of interest for eternity and still have $1 million left when you die?
All the incentive for get-rich-quick schemes right there.
Yeah. I mean, you'd be living like we do for the rest of your life, but at least you wouldn't have to work. You wouldn't have to, have people give you dirty looks for living off welfare.
Well, although I
You're
think
living off
if
interest.
you manage to make $1 million,
Chances are you can make another million.
yes.
Famous last words.
That's how it
That
works.
and
though.
hold my beer and watch this. That's some famous last words right there. And hey, it's an electric fence. I'm a pee on it.
Oh. Does that actually happen?
That happened in Fanboys. They peed on the electric fence.
Chris Rabb of CKY did that once, like for real.
Does it shot the electricity goes back to the source?
If you are standing in such a way that you're grounded, and you're, like if you were barefoot or something, then yeah, it would go up your pitu and out through your feet.
Wow. So from the waist down, you'd be hacking.
Mostly at waist level, I'm gonna guess, but I don't know. I mean, like he flinched and he fell on the ground and he cried and he
Yeah,
got back
literally.
up and they said, would you consider doing that again? He said, no, screw that.
And that's Chris Rabb. He's taking like rubber bullets to the chest.
It might have been blanks.
Whatever. Regardless, he does some stupid stuff. I've seen him. sit
People
in
can
a room-
survive
sit in
blanks
a
to the
racquetball
chest.
room while
Yeah, a blank
nest
does
goes
very
off.
little damage at all unless you're very close to it.
That's the point, Dumas.
No, this was a, I think they call it a claymore. It was one of those it was one of those crowd
Right.
control bombs that have the little rubber marbles in it.
Little rubber bullets go flying everywhere.
That knocked everyone down, but Chris Rabb wasn't there. And then Johnny Knoxville was like, "Is the face okay? Is the face okay? All right, then we're good." And he walks away. Everyone else is like in the fetal position. Anyway,
I have to wonder what kind of games Respawn Games is going to do. I would assume first-person shooters because that's what West and Zampella have been doing for years now.
That's the name of their new company,
Yeah, Respawn Games.
Respawn. That's
They have
clever.
a
That's
they have a
fitting.
publishing deal with EA. I got to wonder what kind of games they're going to do. Where the hell are you going?
well, you told me to turn my phone off for the podcast, and I not only forgot to do that, but I forgot where my phone is. Wait, never mind. I see it. I'm gonna go get that and put it on silent.
Oh my gosh.
And off he goes.
I reminded him twice. Twice! And he still forgot to do it. D-pad, your brother is a tard.
I think I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call him right now. See if he actually turned it off.
We're on hold right now.
So well, I guess he didn't leave his phone on.
Yes, that's confirmation. It's also confirmation that he needs to change his freaking ringback thing.
I like Soul Cake.
It's
well, at least it's not the Rick Roll anymore.
yeah, it
used to
is
be
a
that,
whole lot
and
less.
That was torture.
It is a whole lot less gay than that.
Soul cake, have a look at that soul cake. A preacher, a baker, a butcher, a rabbit, and other neat things I found in the attic. Soul cake,
Hey, when is,
no one messes
since
with
when
soul
is
cake.
Since when is the Rick Roll gay?
This is a song by a gay man.
He would never give a girl up. Or he might be singing
Least
about
of
a
all
guy.
during Lent. Think about it.
I was at my friend's house the other day, and they were talking about putting their dog down, and it's like, I'm never gonna put her down. I was just like, never gonna put you down. I was gonna let you out.
No.
I stopped myself though.
You see that he's making fun of someone's dead dog.
No, the dog's not dead. It was.
You told me it's
They were-
Billy, right?
Oh no, not Billy. No.
Because you told me Billy had his dog put down this
Oh,
week.
poor
You
kid.
horrible, mean person.
I was not referring to that dog.
I feel sorry for Billy because he had a dog put down. I know how much that
Nothing
hurts
but
because back
respect
in
for that dog.
June, I had my dog put down. That shit sucked.
I was talking about somebody considering putting their dog down. It hadn't happened yet.
Okay, I showed.
Unfortunately. Anyway,
Okay, I showed you
aliens.
guys. God damn it! Stop it! I showed you.
Alibaba.
I'm gonna hit you with something, and I'm gonna hit you
Don't touch.
in the groin with something.
I'm going to hit you. Very soft part of your body.
Anyway, Gears of War 3. I showed you guys the trailer for this just before that. It was announced this week.
Well, Gears
On
of that
Jimmy
Halo 3
Kimmel
is the most
or-
violent game
Or
in the world.
Jim Fallon or some gay ass guy that nobody gives a damn about was announced. It was given a release date of April 15th, 2011, and it will be the conclusion of the trilogy. It will have a new female character who will be a gear. It'll be a 360 exclusive, and there'll be a new mutating tentacle enemy called the Lambent that was, you saw that in the trailer,
Yeah,
back
terrifying.
behind the group of enemies.
Hey, where did the trailer take place? Were they at ground zero of a nuclear explosion or something?
Certainly look like it, and it
Looks
will
horrible.
feature a double-barrel shotgun. Double-barrel shotguns are awesome.
Can you discharge both barrels at the same gun? Like,
I
is that
hope
the
so,
point?
because like when you can't do that in video games, it kind of sucks. I mean, in Doom 2, you discharged both barrels into an empty chest, reloaded, and did it again. It was great.
Because I've seen games where they use the double tap idea, you know, where like they both go off right next to each other, back to back, you know. Like pa pa.
That's one of the rules of the zombie apocalypse, folks. Remember your double taps. But what'd you guys think of the trailer, first off?
Freaking brutal. I mean, I don't get a good feel for the gameplay because of it. I mean, because it's basically just taking a cutscene from the game and turning it into a trailer.
Yeah, it wasn't any actual
But,
gameplay.
I mean, it was deep. I mean, you see action and desolation and abomination, all while there's very little use of distant-sounding sound effects and some soft music, and that's just like, whoa.
Yeah, the music really...
Whoa, man.
It's playing soft, really depressing music. It really captures the feeling, you know. It's this guy, he's running through, like...
Oh, hey, guy.
What looks like, you know, a place where a nuke just went off. It's just this wasteland of ash. And you can still see figures, like human figures. Mothers. Yeah, just frozen, like mothers shielding their children. He's just running through them like they're nothing.
I think I saw a mime at one point.
I think that's what they want.
That
you
would
to
be a
think.
good sense of humor there. Throw a mime in the middle of
Rusty the
somewhere,
Clown.
somewhere like where an atomic bomb just blew up, so you have basically statues of human ash.
Wouldn't his
and a
invisible
mime.
wall protect him? Can he just put up a wall?
If a
climb a
mime
rope
is
to
in
get
the
out of the
woods
way.
and a tree falls on him, does anyone care? Well, I'll admit I'm not a huge fan of the Gears of War games. I have not played the second one. I want to give it a try sometime, but I have not played it yet. Partly due to the fact that my Xbox 360 was stolen. I'd rather not get into that. It was the single worst night of my life. But I did play and beat the first one, and I didn't think it was all that it was cracked up to be. That might be because I played Uncharted 1 first, and it did the cover system better, and it had a better story. I also thought it had better shooting mechanics and the enemy AI, and it was really cool as well. Uncharted was a great game. But Gears, I think a large part of my disappointment with the game was the result of the story that was presented in the game. It felt a lot like the first Zone of the Enders to me, where a large chunk of the story was just missing. Just not there, like they wrote half of a story and stuck it in there, and the other half, many vital components that would have helped make the story make sense, were not there, and that
I think
bugs
that's
me.
part of a greater universe that I'm not really aware of. That's what in Latin would be called in medias res. Middle of things. What else is Latin? Carpe opossum. That means seize the possum.
Carpe the diem. Seize the carp. That's an Out Cold reference. You guys ever seen that movie?
Oh yeah.
Rule number 1, we don't talk about King of the Mountain. Rule number 2, there are no rules. What about rule number 1?
That's more of a guideline.
Can you get an STD from a polar bear? It's the best line in the movie. Anyway,
I got 3 scars here: skateboarding, truck, fire hydrant. Wow, I bet each one has its own special story. Not really. Skateboarded off a truck into a fire hydrant.
It's fucking great. Anyway, yeah, this game, the trailer was really cool, but I find it hard to be excited about it. Gears 1 was kind of cool, and I tried the online play, and my biggest problem with the online play was there were only 4 players in a game at a time. The maps felt so deserted to me because of that.
Even online?
Yes,
Like-
online, 4 people.
Sad.
It's not very many at all. I mean, if they'd gone 8, it would have been fine. 16, fine. Think about like Resistance 1 for the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 3. It's a launch title for the system. 40 max.
Well, yeah, I mean, part of the appeal of Gears of War is that it runs smoothly. You know, they didn't try to overdo anything. And one of the main things about the storyline is that you never see. It's not like Halo. You never see any humans fighting other humans. It's the humans versus the aliens. And I've played the online play before. It was me and like 2 other people. You know, we had a team of 3, and you just, I don't know. I loved it. You know, you had to, take refuge in a bunker.
Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention about this game will have 4-player cooperative mode, which that does capture my interest. That might be fun. That might be a lot of fun. Games tend to be more fun when they're played co-op. But obviously this was the biggest gaming news for this week. excluding the woman that fell off of her Wii balance board and became a sex addict.
Is this an actual story?
Yes, it is.
What happened?
She was.
Fell off of her board.
She fell off of her Wii balance board and crushed one of her nerves or something, and lost her ability to control her sex drive, and she gets horny, quote, 9 to 10 times a day, end quote, and something as simple as a vibrating cell phone can set her off. She said she'll just have to learn to deal with it until she can find some, quote, super stud, end quote, who can satisfy her.
What kind of tits is that? How does that happen?
I was really perplexed by this story, so I went and did a little research, and on Wikipedia I actually found that there is a condition called PSAS, persistent sexual arousal syndrome, which can be caused by nerve damage, believe it or not, in which a person is just like excessively and like constantly aroused.
Does it happen in women?
Well, yeah. Obviously. Yeah. It's kind of similar to priapism, which if you don't know is the scientific term for an erection lasting 4 or more hours. Except that can apparently be kind of painful. I don't know.
Oh, it would. That does something.
Yeah, like getting your blood pressure taken on your junk.
I feel like I should just go out, and just club some woman in the back of the head. Hope she gets nerve
Makes you
damage.
want to, what, does that make you want to shove every woman you see off of a Wii balance board?
Could you stand on this for a second? You'll find out in a minute.
In hopes that she'll, like, pounce you
Hey,
like a hungry
you pushed me.
tiger
What the
or
hell's
something.
wrong with you? Hey. You look
She'll pounce you.
surprisingly
She'll
good
get
today.
back up after you shove her down and pounce you like a hungry tiger.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Good luck with that.
That'll work for a while until some disgruntled chiropractors come up to your door, kick in your window, and drop you like a bad habit.
Why would they do that? I'm giving them all the business.
You know, there's got to be like therapy groups and shit for this kind of thing. And I wonder if guys can get this, because nobody would believe a guy if he said, I'm horny all the
Seriously.
time. They'd be like,
Seriously,
of
it's a
course you're horny
condition.
all the time, you're a guy. No, seriously, I'm horny all the time. I have a problem. I think I got that persistent sexual thing. And then you'd be like the one guy in the group of incredibly horny women. Sounds kind of hot.
Sounds like it could be a fanfic.
Okay, moving on. We just had kind of an impromptu topic there. Sony execs have said that poorly implemented 3D is ruining the entertainment industry. They used Clash of the Titans as an example. And we've said this before, don't see Clash of the Titans in 3D. It is poorly implemented. What are we thinking about this, guys?
I'm thinking, what was our last topic again? Because we ended up on a completely different topic. I just wanted to know how far we went.
This is the third topic in the podcast.
our last
We're only
topic was
34
about,
minutes in.
about-
It's the third topic.
Oh, wow. Alright.
But you know what? This goes an hour and a half. I don't fucking care. I really don't.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, like I said, Sony execs said that poorly executed 3D is ruining the entertainment industry. They used Clash of the Titans as a prime example. And if you've seen that
That's
movie,
good to hear that we weren't the only people who felt that way.
if you've seen that movie, the 3D in that movie,
Yeah, it's not
blows.
even. It's like 3D from the 70s. It's like, wow, it's lettering that pops out at you. Can you believe it? Like,
I
they're
think
so
they
much
threw
more
in a few
capable.
shots at the beginning when you're flying through space that were shot fully in 3D, just to fool you into thinking that the rest of the movie might be good in 3D.
Yeah, rendered in full 3D. That's the thing. When you shoot in 3D, you have to shoot with 2 camera lenses. When you do this in CGI, you don't have to use 2 camera lenses. You just do 2 separate videos with a slightly different angle. But I don't know now how they took. Maybe that was the only thing that was different that they changed about it was those CGI sequences, because it was so shallow the 3D effect that the live action parts you couldn't even tell.
Even the CGI was all shallow in 3D. Even the CGI wasn't very good in 3D. It's just Sony's right saying that is poorly implemented 3D. And I've been thinking about this. What games could use 3D? And has anybody ever played a first-person shooter where you had to jump a lot?
I've never played a first-person shooter where you can jump, except for Morrowind.
What about Mirror's Edge?
Well, that doesn't count.
It's a first-person.
It's not a shooter.
But it's a first-person game. You jump. It's centered around.
First-person.
And I'm going to use Mirror's Edge as a prime example of this. It is basically like a first-person platforming game. And
Great
anybody
idea.
that's ever had to jump in first-person shooters knows that jumping in first-person shooters
It's
blows.
awkward.
It
know
sucks.
what
It's
you're landing
terrible.
on, you don't know.
It's very, very hard to judge. It's not like a 3D platformer with a third-person perspective where you can get a good view of it by adjusting the camera and be able to jump a lot easier. You're doing it from the first-person perspective. It makes it very, very hard. And I was thinking, with 3D, you could get a much better angle on your jump, and it seems to me that would ultimately help make a much better first-person platforming game.
I could see that.
I could picture 3D helping out a game
Because
like
then you would have
Mirror's Edge a lot.
depth perception.
Yes,
Is that
depth
what
perception,
you're saying?
exactly. That would
I
give
don't
you.
know. I still think you would have to be able to see your feet. To know when you're.
Oh, in Mirror's Edge, could you see your feet?
Well, wait.
I think you could,
Straight down. But you still just don't have a feel for where they are. You know?
but the 3D would help with that a lot, I would think. And that is the kind of game they need to add 3D. They could stand to add 3D to that would help. I think for the most part, 3D is going to wind up feeling like just a gimmick, even though it's going to be shoved
No,
down
I
our
think-
throats. I mean, we're just getting
I
to the
think
point.
we're really on to something here. I mean, with Avatar, making more sales than fucking Titanic.
It deserved it. It's a much better movie than Titanic. That
Well, I mean,
being
that's
said,
the
there are
thing.
much better movies
as a
than
movie-
Avatar.
Exactly. As a movie, it was so-so. But I mean,
It wasn't so-so. Avatar
I
was a
loved
good
it.
movie.
Oh, I loved it.
Avatar was a good movie, but it's not exactly like Shutter Island good, you know,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
or The Departed good. It's not that good.
right. But, I mean,
Or
the
to use
effects
a
were
James
definitely-
Cameron film, Terminator 2. That's a badass movie. That is one of the best action movies
Well,
you
that's
will.
just awesome because of the liquid metal guy.
That's awesome for a shitload of reasons. You can't name one thing about that movie that isn't awesome.
Yes, I can.
Bullshit.
Keanu Reeves.
He wasn't in that movie.
Oh wait, I'm thinking of Bill and Ted.
You're dumb. One thing that wasn't awesome about Terminator 2, it didn't have Lopan.
Every movie could use more Lopan and AC/DC.
There's a lack of Lopan in my life.
There's a lack of... Well, I can't say there's a lack of AC/DC in my life because I own like 5 AC/DC albums. There's not enough AC/DC in my life. Oh, man.
We need Rush.
I kind of hope that... I ultimately kind of hope that... Well, I bought a Rush on vinyl.
Yes.
Farewell to Kings. I kind of hope that this is kind of a wake-up call to the industry that's forcing 3D down our throats. We're getting 3D for the PlayStation 3, whether we want it or not. We're getting a 3 version of the 3DS, whether we want it or not. And
With video games, it's another story, but what really concerns me is with movies because it's already more or less been ruined in reputation. Yeah, they could make a comeback, but how many people are going to want to say, that, the initial shock is over. How many people are going to say, oh, da-da-da-da in 3D? Oh, well, that's nothing new.
Tron.
well, I've heard that
I
the
stand
3D
corrected.
I've heard that the 3D on How to Train Your Dragon is pretty good. I've heard, but I haven't seen that movie.
Yeah, but see, the ones that actually do it right are going to be underappreciated. because people aren't going to.
Doesn't seem like How to Train Your Dragon is underappreciated, and Avatar was very
Yeah,
not underappreciated.
D-pad Tron. Is that confirmed that it's going to be in 3D, or
Yes,
are you
it
just
is.
saying?
Yeah, shot completely in 3D. It's not going to be like turned into 3D at the end, like one of those, like the whole silly Clash of the Titans.
Martin
gimmick.
Scorsese is shooting his next movie entirely in 3D as well.
What is it?
I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head,
hope
but
it's
I'm going to go
Tron.
see it because it's Martin Scorsese, damn it.
Godfather 4 in cyberspace.
Actually, they are doing a new Godfather, and the Godfather is not Martin Scorsese. It's Francis Ford Coppola, remember? He also,
Shut up, you.
He also did Apocalypse Now.
Shut up.
Your mom.
Martin Scorsese. Okay.
But not D-Pad's mom, just your mom.
I'm quarter Italian. I should know these things.
You were adopted,
Mahogany.
so you're real mom. That's why it's not D-Pad's mom.
You know what, Joystick? Your mother and I are very disappointed in you.
Well, your mother and I are very disappointed in you.
That was the best.
And you don't even know your real mother because you were adopted!
Well, you have, like, a mustache.
Yes, I do.
And a monocle. Monocle wearing mofo.
I would have a monocle. I'd be like, yeah, look smart now.
Monocles would make anyone smart. Oh, only half their brain. Glasses are what really does it. Just putting that out there, ladies.
Okay, I figure we could be on this next topic for quite some time. Fable 3 allows you to make sexy time because we
Very
all like
nice.
you and we like sex. It's very nice.
Very nice.
With your co-op partner and to produce children.
Well, who plays the child then?
I have no idea. Probably the child's an NC. Because who wants to play a little baby? Wah, wah, shit, fart, sleep, eat. That's babies.
You get to breastfeed.
Baby to
Don't
March.
forget that.
Baby to March. Wah, wah. Over.
What about Stewie? You know, he's like one of the best babies ever. Like, couldn't you just aspire to be him?
You know, I think everybody wants a baby like Maggie Simpson. She rarely ever cries.
She never talks. She never screws everything up.
Are we absolutely sure that she's not just a chia pet?
Her hair is not green.
Bart
So,
Simpson's
she
more of
is
a chia pet.
Not a chia pet. Oops, my finger slipped. Oops, my finger slipped. Oops, my finger slipped.
Well,
There we
that
go.
would require
some
a
sort of
deregulator, which is
re-regulator.
so complex, I don't even begin to
I
explain.
have to laugh and chortle. Oh man, Simpsons is such a great show. Anyway,
Well, anyway,
sex in video games. That is the topic.
that is sad because either you could go out and get sex instead of doing that, or you are ashamed that you can't get sex, and so you do it with the friend that you're playing with, in which case it's a guy, probably. So
God,
it's just
a guy playing a female character.
Rule 30. There are no girls on the internet.
it's true.
Rule 34. If it exists, there's a porn version of it.
And people enjoy it. That's the second part of that rule.
Rule 35 is that if it's not out there, then it will be soon.
I think that was Rule 36.
No,
If
let's
it's-
follow up to Rule 34. What would Rule 35 be then?
I don't know.
There actually exists a list of common internet rules. Like Rule 9 is for every fail there will be an equal but opposite win or something like that.
Anyway, sex in video games have been a huge part of video games, and it's been a controversial topic pretty much almost as long as their violence in video games has been a controversial topic. That fucking long. Obviously, the most common way that sex in video games is used is via sex appeal, and that's throughout the entire entertainment industry. You know why? Because sex sells. We like sexy women. Isn't that right, D-Pad?
Amen. That it's always going to be that way. It's human nature. We're never going to grow out of that fandom.
Why did you just address D-pad on that one and not say, isn't that right? Guys.
Because you were not holding a mic. That's my only reason. I saw he was holding a mic, so I addressed D-pad. I wasn't calling you a gay!
I was gonna say something about the microphone being kind of phallic looking, but I'm gonna withdraw that.
For fear of sounding even gayer?
Yeah, and you know what else is faggoty? Bubble Bobble. Not really. That's a good game.
Although I am slightly aroused by the fact that it almost says Bubble Booble.
Yeah. It was a huge controversy in Mass Effect, which...
How is it going to work? Is it just going to be the screen fades to black and you hear little giggles and stuff? Like on the
I
other
don't
games?
know. Those details have not been announced yet.
The screen goes black and all you hear is, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, he's alright.
It's a male voice going, he's alright. You're not going to produce babies that way. Yeah, I think that's more accurate.
Now I need a cigarette.
That too.
That's good stuff.
The woman's like, I just suck cock, now I need to suck ass.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept and all. I mean, is it going to be online? You can play online with other people?
I know there will be online play. I don't know if the sex will be online. But...
Well, then what's the point? I mean, like, your girlfriend plays it too, and you invite her over and say, hey, let's have
virtual sex?
Sex, yeah. I'm
Before we have real
it's
sex?
clever. I'm glad they're putting it in the game, but I don't see when we will ever use it. Like, I don't know. Like, you were right, sex sells, and people are going to hear about that, and they're going to be like, oh, I got to buy it now.
I wonder if they're going to do a news story on Fox News about this like they did with the Mass Effect sex scene, which was handled extremely well, by the way. If you've played that game and you actually managed to get that scene, you have to go through an entire romance of getting to know the characters and then choosing who your partner will be, and then even once you've chosen,
there's one
you just
sex
don't.
Scene in the game.
Yes, even once you've chosen, you just don't go straight to sex. It's like a freaking you go through a romance.
It's
over
like
the
a real
course of the game.
relationship.
Yes, and it's handled from a romantic point of view. They don't like have cheap porn music playing and oh yeah, take it. None of that.
Like, it's actually... That kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy VII, where you go on the date with one of the 3 female characters. Depends on who you used more.
Actually, if you treat all the female characters like
shit,
you
can
can
get
Barrett.
What?
Barrett. Yes.
No!
Yes,
you do
Barrett.
not!
And it's
you
not.
can't do that.
Yes,
go on
you
a
can
date
get
with
Barrett.
Does he wear pigtails?
No, Cloud did.
Yes, he did.
Cloud
Definitely
gated
was.
up.
He liked it too. He had fun doing it.
If you got enough stuff in that game, you could actually get the Dawn to choose Cloud over the other people.
I have heard of that, but then...
I don't remember. It's been too long. I know I did that. I know I got enough stuff that he wound up choosing Cloud.
Yeah,
in
you have
my
to get the
game,
right
my
wig,
playthrough.
you have to get the right fabric, you have to get the right makeup. It's really hard to get, like, the best of all 3 categories.
It's especially hard considering that part of the game is not really all that fun to begin with.
It does kind of drag.
Now, honestly, Final Fantasy VII is love it or hate it. Mostly hate it. I loved it. It was my introduction to Final Fantasy. But that's one part of the game that I could really do without. It's funny, but it drags on.
Before you get to the map, the world map.
Not so, because the very beginning of the game is awesome, up until you get back to the bar. Later on, when you rush the Shinra building, awesome.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
a little
it
bit
has
of a
its
lag
moments,
after you leave. I mean, Yeah, but I'm just saying that point in between those two events in Midgard.
When you rush the Shinra building and you're leaving it, you get that shitty mini game that sucked balls.
What, do you mean where you're in the motorcycle?
May
Oh,
not
that
have been
was
very
fun.
good gameplay, but just, sword play on motorcycles.
Sword play on motorcycles.
It was a rip-off of Road Rash, and you know it.
Yeah, but Road Rash was awesome.
Yeah, but this wasn't. Road Rash was a lot of fun.
Maybe you're a rip-off of Road Rash.
Your face is a rip-off of Road Rash.
Yo, you're a rip-off of
Road
Jock
Rash ripped
Rash.
off your face
You're a rip-off of Jock Rash.
with its... It hit you right in the face with its chain and ripped it off.
Ouch. That's deep.
That's what Road Rash does.
It's not. That's not.
That,
That's
that,
not right.
that is a game I need to buy again. That game
Used
was
to
so
have
fun.
that. One of the really popular Genesis titles that I have the privilege of actually having owned and played when it was popular.
Obviously, sex is a huge proponent of what sells video games. I mean, look at most of the video game characters that happen to be female, and they make them as sexy as they possibly can, even when it's not a human. Look at the Asari in Mass Effect, for example. And someone is going to hate on me for this, because there are a whole lot of people that were just weirded out by this one. Crystal from Star Fox. It's painfully obvious that she was meant to be good looking. Nintendo made that painfully. They even put her in skimpy clothing. Damn it!
No comment. Yes, she is.
They obviously designed her to be good looking. If she was human, people would be like, oh yeah, she's got gorgeous curves. But because she's a fox, people are like, no way, dude.
Yeah. It's for the select few. Thanks, Joystick. You just cost us our whole audience. Hey, anybody still out there?
I'm making a point. I'm not talking about like what I personally think of her. I'm just talking about how she was designed in the first place.
Yeah, I know.
And she was designed to be very, very good looking. And I don't know, man.
I think you guys need to relax. I mean, she's clearly a beauty.
Sex obviously has its place in video games. It's never going to go away, whether it's something as simple as sex appeal or something as more out there like the hot coffee. And you remember that? The whole hot coffee debacle from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Hot coffee. The hot coffee mod that they were passing around for the PC version of the game that allowed you to have sex with your girlfriend in the game.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was nowhere.
So this Fable thing isn't a first?
No, it's not. I don't think it was with a co-op partner, but you could have sex in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. You could have sex in Mass Effect. You could have sex in Mass Effect 2, although I've heard they toned it down even more on that because of the huge deal that people made out of that happening in the first game. I mean, it was on Fox News, for God's sake, and they had experts from the industry come in to do interviews, and Fox News barely let them talk. It was kind of biased, and kind of bullshit. Holy shit! We're almost at 55 minutes, and we still have 2 more topics. This is going to be a long-ass podcast. Okay, you guys ready to move on?
Alright.
April 2nd. AI Labs files a lawsuit against Nintendo claiming that they willfully infringed on AI Labs' patent with the Wii Fit and Wii Fit Plus and the Wii Balance Board. Nintendo has just gotten, I posted about this on the website, they just got off of a case where a company in East Texas was claiming that the Wii Motion Plus, or the Wiimote and Nunchuck and the Wavebird controller for the GameCube all infringed on a copyright lawsuit. They wound up winning that lawsuit. That is now over, and
What did they do? They copyright themselves?
Well, they had a copyright that they made, and they claimed that Nintendo's controllers were infringing on said copyright, and Nintendo wound up winning that case. And like I just said, a company called IA Labs had filed a lawsuit this week against, or April 2nd actually, against Nintendo, and they were claiming that Nintendo willfully infringed on AI Labs patents with the Wii Fit, Wii Fit Plus, and the Wii Balance Board. They're saying that they've had some kind of exercise video game type thing before, and I know that this isn't the first thing like the Wii Balance Board to exist.
There's been hundreds. They've been making attempts for that since that little A-B button that you could stomp on to get your character to run for the Nintendo.
Or the Rollin' Rocker.
So you could drink a
Rolling Rock on the Rollin' Rocker. Rolling Rock. Rolling Rocker. Never gonna give you up.
Yeah, I don't know what technology they have that Nintendo would be infringing on. I hadn't even heard of this company until I saw this story, but Nintendo gets out of one lawsuit and gets into another one almost immediately.
Because they can handle it.
You think this is just IA Labs wanting a piece of the pie that is the Wii? The thing practically prints money.
It is true. They'll never stop coming out with, different.
Or do you
different
think they might
accessories for it.
have something here? And Nintendo did infringe on some copyright that they have. What are you guys thinking?
I don't know. It's the Wii, I mean, of course they're going to have exercise equipment for it.
Has anybody actually seen or heard of this AI Labs product? IA, intelligent artificialness. Has anybody actually seen this thing that they think Nintendo ripped off from them? Because I haven't.
I don't know. I know there's been all kinds of computerized exercise type things that you can hook up to your TV or computer to keep monitors on the kind of stuff that the Wii Balance Board has kept monitors on. And I have no idea who's created all of this stuff. Maybe it is IA Labs. Maybe they do have some kind of court case here. I don't know.
Do you think they would have come out and shown it? I mean, I did a Google image search for, IA Labs balance board thing. The number one result was a picture of a middle-aged woman in a hover round with a straw hat going up the side of a wall on a skyscraper. And I said, I don't think that's it.
That certainly doesn't sound like it. But just because you didn't find it right away on Google doesn't mean that they didn't do it. We'll have to wait and see how this pans out. I imagine Nintendo is going to wind up winning this because they have more money than God and godly lawyers.
It does, however, mean that IA Labs has crappy marketing strategies, because if I were them, I would have hyped the crap out of it. I would have been like, launched a massive ad campaign. It's like, hey,
well, they said that
better.
their technology has been used in like hundreds of products or something like that. So maybe they have put it out there.
They can make a montage, or they can make a collage.
Got a
of the
montage. Montage!
Put it up there so that when people look up ask Jeeves.com, what did IA Labs do, they'll have a popular result. And people will say, oh, Nintendo, you do. Oh, no, you didn't.
Whatever.
In that scene in Team America, there was a deleted scene from that. Where, where he has to give the guy head to prove his loyalty.
They showed that? What?
No, there's a deleted scene immediately following that where it says we're going to have to turn you into a soldier now.
Oh, in the montage. There's
yeah,
an
they cut
extended
out
montage?
a little. Yeah, they cut out a little piece of that line. As originally we're going to have to turn you into a soldier now, which is going to be hard because now you're gay. They cut that out of the movie.
Yeah, that might be a little risque.
Yeah, since when has that bothered Matt Stone and Trey Parker, though?
That's true.
They'll make
But that's
fun
a,
of anybody.
little
They'll call him.
controversy. Oh, this is right after they blew up Michael Morris.
Fuck that fat fuck.
Man, I bet that guy is flammable.
It's very sebaceous.
Well, his flatulence is flammable, right? And I mean, he's fat, so he probably produces a lot of that.
And hot air.
Oh!
Yeah, that's not. I mean, people with higher metabolism. Worse bowel movements.
Yeah, I guess so.
Not a
Granted, Michael Moore at the very least is a good filmmaker. I mean, I might not agree with him, but no, I might not agree with them. But his movies are easy to watch at the very least.
He's a douche.
You're a douche.
Your face is a douche. You're a douche mongling, douche knocking, douche knocker.
Douche kabibble?
That douche canoe.
Douche kebab?
Douche canoe.
I gotta stop this. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll wait and see how this pans out, and if any further developments come across, we'll either talk about it on the podcast or we'll post it up on the website. Speaking of the website, in case you missed it, there was a Legend of Zelda review that I posted up there on this week.
Which Legend of Zelda?
Twilight Princess.
Nice.
I did a full review of that. I talked about why I think it is the best Zelda game. I talked about the game's flaws, everything.
Wait. You thought it was the best Zelda?
Or 3D Zelda game, sorry.
That's 3D Zelda.
Yeah, best 3D Zelda game. I don't think it's the best Zelda game.
Well,
I would
you
say Link to the Past and
Link to
Link's
the
Awakening
Past.
are definitely better.
Okay. And Link's Awakening, you mean the one for Game Boy?
God, that game was so good.
It was good, but I mean, it's lengthy. You know?
Oh, I was watching Nintendo Capri Sun's Let's Play Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess last night. His newest video. And he's got to the part in the game where you finally hear about Ganon, which is like 20 hours into it. Seriously, they don't even mention Ganondorf until after the 4th dungeon of the game.
That's new.
Yeah. And when they finally bring up Ganondorf, they threw in a little film clip of Iago from Aladdin going, "That's a surprise! I think I'm gonna have a heart attack and die from that surprise!" And I was like, that's fucking great. That's awesome.
That old Ganon's Coney Island Disco Palace.
Coney Island Disco Palace.
Why did you make Mario sound like a grizzled, like, California prospector?
The thing about that is
And
that
now
you
Mario's
gotta
black?
leave the chocolate
That'd
pudding
be awesome.
out because Mario doesn't have enough pudding in his life. You know, all he eats
I actually ran into a black Mario at Otakon one year. Shut up, D-pad. I actually ran into a black guy who was cosplaying as Mario one year. It was awesome.
Nintendo has a whole lot of court battling ahead of them, I'm sure. After getting off of a 1 to 2 year court battle, I forget. You can read about that on the website if you want to. I'm going to move a shit ton of stuff after this podcast from the main page of the website to the news archive. I moved 5 topics last week. I'm going to move a bunch more this week, probably 8, 9. Ooh, boy. Okay.
Still have one more topic.
Yes, we do. And we are an hour and 5 minutes in.
Wow.
We still have one more topic. Former White House Chief of Staff Erskine Bowles. I'm not making that. Bowles. How else would you pronounce that?
What's his full name?
Erskine. Erskine.
Erskine Bowles. That sounds painful.
Yeah, it sounds like some kind of disease that you don't want to catch.
Or an operation.
Anyway, Erskine Bowles has asked Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer.
Is this
I'm
like
just
the
waiting
vengeance
for
of the
one of
funny
you to
names?
quote the nerd here. Ballmer.
B17 Ballmer.
Okay, there we go. Has asked Steve Ballmer to develop a game for the 360 that lets people suggest ways of fixing the United States budget problem.
What is it with all these, like, all these patriotic people with these awful, like, sounding names? What, Dick, Bush, Powell,
Put a
Colin,
Bush and a dick in the White House. Vote
Colin,
Republican.
Bowles, and now Ballmer?
Yeah.
Are they making fun of themselves?
Maybe we like to vote body parts into office.
Vote Danglewood and Shag Nasty, 2016.
Bolivar Shagnasty. If you're listening, Dad, that one's for you. Bolivar Shagnasty.
How often do you get to shout out to your daddy using a word like that?
Well, that was the name that he ordered pizza off of.
Some people are going to be like, what?
He also used to go to Fuddruckers, and when he did that, he would tell them his name was Bolivar Shagnasty, and then his friends would all give fake names as well, so that when they got to the last guy in line, whose name actually was Apollo, they would be like, "No, you fucking kidding me? What's your real name?" Apollo. Fucking great. This sounds like the single most boring video game I've ever heard in the United States.
Yeah,
In the
I
entire
can't
history
imagine
of
who
video
that would
games.
appeal to. Because the only people who are old enough to understand politics are too old to understand video games.
Not entirely true. I mean,
think-
I will be
but-
25, and
true.
God forbid I ever get old enough to no longer understand video games. If I do that, I think I'll just shoot myself. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, that's true, but like, I don't know. There's just too many. It's just not going to appeal to enough people, I guess.
I'll
is
say
what I'm
this:
trying
this
to
is
say.
not the first time that the United States government or some branch of it or something has used video games to garner interest
Seriously?
in problems or
Where
try to
else have
solve
they done
problems.
that? Like Modern
America's
Warfare?
Army. Have you seen the first-person shooter America's Army?
Mm-mm.
It's an online first-person shooter, and it's supposed to be a pretty damn good one.
What's it
but
for?
it's for PCs, I believe.
Okay.
They might have made versions for the 360 and PC or PS3. I'm not sure.
Let's also not forget the Presidential Campaign 1984 video game for the ColecoVision.
Oh God, let's forget that, please. Let's forget that.
Yeah, I stand corrected. Let's forget that right now and stuff.
What were we talking about?
America's Army. It's a recruitment tool for the U.S. Army. Actually, it's supposed to actually be a pretty good game, but it is and it's constantly under continual development. They're constantly improving on it and making
Right. Do they
changes
just
so to
have
keep it
you,
fresh.
Install updates for it, or
I'm guessing. They
that's
do
interesting.
that to
That's
keep.
actually a really good idea.
They do
So
that
it's
to
like
keep it
Modern
fresh.
Warfare, I guess.
It's strictly online. So I imagine if it's anything, it's probably more like MAG for the PlayStation 3.
I never played it.
It's
Mag.
the biggest online shooter of all time. 256 players divided into two teams of 128 each, and each team is divided up into squads of 8, and you can move up in rank to squad leader to over several squads to over your entire army and stuff like that. And the whole thing is centered around teamwork, and you can do cool things like you can call in a strike from the Air Force and things like that. And it's got vehicles, and the maps are huge, and it's centered around controlling portions of the maps and things like that. I have not played it yet. I want to because it looks really, really fucking cool.
It's called MAG.
MAG, Massive Action Game, is what it stands for.
Okay. I thought it meant like magazine.
It's from Zipper Interactive, who created the SOCOM series.
Okay. Hey, that's cool.
So, they do know what they're doing. They've created some good shooters before.
Did you play this Army of Two game?
I played the first one, but I have not played the new one. The first one's a lot of fun, especially if you do it co-op.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, you have to do it co-op. It's called Army of Two. But you go into the Middle East, you gotta fight suicide bombers and shit like that.
I remember first time I played through that game, I went into the cave toward the beginning of the game where they have the missiles set up. And I said, "Giant missiles! Let's shoot them!"
Does it work? Does it blow
No,
up?
it doesn't
Oh,
blow
that's
up.
so
I was
shame.
hoping it would. I was really hoping it would. But this sounds like the most boring video game of all time. A thing to fix the budget? I can understand the theory, because the United States budget is inflating.
I'm going to try not to get too political here, but I had this idea when I first found out about this idea for a game. What if they made a game that was just like an all-out, like, tons of details, basically just like a United States federal government sim? And if people would buy this thinking, I bet I could run this country better than most of those schmucks in the White House right now. So they think they can, people will buy it thinking like, I'm not like these putzes in the White House right now, or in the Oval Office or the Congress or what have you. I can do this a lot better. And then they buy it, and after about 3 hours of gameplay, they go, "This is hard. Makes me want to go poopy."
Knowing how persistent gamers are, they'll continue to play it after 3 hours and do their damnedest to try to figure it all out.
Of course they will, but, it'll give them a new appreciation of why, most people hate politicians, because...
They lie?
Well,
That's why most people hate politicians.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that politicians don't lie. They do, but I don't think that's why people hate them. I think people hate them because they assume that they're good at doing what it is that they have to do, when not a whole lot of people really are.
Dude, I still think lying has a whole lot to do with it. You lie to people, it pisses them off.
Yeah, but most people don't even get it. Most people don't even realize.
Most people vote for the president with the better hair.
Exactly, or the bigger shoulders.
I don't know if this is a good idea. Microsoft has not said for sure if they're going to do this. If they do, I doubt it will sell, because people will be like, "What the fuck? Budget? I don't care about that. I want to kill somebody."
Lord.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, I don't know. I mean, like, it's just a sim. I mean, it's like that Adult Swim game, like 15 minutes to kill yourself.
Hey, that shit's fun.
Well,
5 minutes.
5 minutes, I mean, that's pretty much what, making a federal budget would be like. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
That's a good one.
Ugh.
You have 5 minutes to make a federal budget.
Wow.
Or stick your head
This
in the
is
paper
far and
shredder.
away the longest podcast we've ever recorded.
What are we up to?
1 hour and 16. A long podcast.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's almost,
I mean, I'll cut some stuff of this. I'll cut some of this stuff out, I'm sure.
this is like the return of the king of Press the Action Button.
Yes, this is the Return of the King of Press the Action Button. If we keep going, it'll be the Return of the King special edition of Press the Action Button. Where it's almost 4 hours long.
There's only one return, and it's not of the king.
It's of the Jedi.
I don't agree with that statement.
3 movies of people walking to a fucking volcano.
Even the fucking trees
Hey,
walk.
if we maybe push another hour, we can be like Dr. Zhivago.
Yeah, press the action button. Pushing 1 hour 20 now. We should wrap this shit up, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should depress the action button.
You hear that? We're unpressing the action button. We're not going to climb ladders right now.
That's so depressing.
People are going to have to quit listening to us at some point. They're going to be like,
Should go to bed,
80
you guys.
minutes? Good God, I'm not
Been
listening to
us
80
for
minutes
80
of them.
minutes.
I'm not listening to 80
Go do
minutes of
something
those
productive.
losers.
Call child services and then go to bed. Seriously. All right, this has been this week's edition of Press the Action Button. Are we ready to wrap it up, gentlemen?
I believe we are.
Yeah,
like you said,
that's all I want to say.
this has been this week's edition of Press the Action Button. My name is a joystick, With me this week has been D-Pad. Say goodbye, D-Pad.
This is D-Pad tuning out, zoning out, logging out, flogging out. You guys, I'll see you next week.
And with me also this week was Game Face. Say goodbye, Game Face.
This is Game Face in your face. Have you folks have a wonderful week. Next weekend we'll have a 12-pack.
Press the action button. Is over and out. We'll talk to you guys next week.